Welcome to another episode of Skins Golf TV. I'm Spencer Tarring.
G'day, and I'm Rob Turvey at the Ledbetter Golf Academy here in Bali.
What are we doing today, Rob?
So basically what we're going to do is we had a request from one of our viewers looking for a draw shot. So thank you for the request.
We got some
fans finally, we've got some subscribers. So we're going to do a draw shot today. So we're going to talk about what it is to do a draw, and then we're going to go through and talk about what it feels like, and then we're going to hit some shots. We're going to try and make that happen.
Okay.
You ready to go?
Yeah, I need that draw in my arsenal.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so we're here at the driving range, Bali National. I don't know, give us a lesson.
So the way that we should work it is we should go through and have a little discussion on how the club actually has to move first and get the technical side out the way. But then as well, I think what you were talking about before is that we got to try and build a little bit of feeling into the golf swing so that, you know, a lot of people can also understand what we're actually doing here as well.
Sure, because telling me how to do it is different to me being able to do it. So I need to try and get that feeling. It's maybe some techniques
feel
to practice.
versus real, you're right?
Yeah, let's do
cool.
it.
Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about everything in relation to the target.
Okay.
Now, to hit a draw shot, a very important thing is to understand that it's a relationship between club face and club path that actually does this. Now, to understand first, it is the club face that determines the starting direction of the golf ball, and then the curvature of the golf ball is because of the relative club path that the club is traveling on into impact, okay? Now, for a draw shot to happen, we actually have to start that ball to the right-hand side of the target and then allow it to draw in. Now, the combination that has to happen to create that draw means that the club face actually has to point slightly to the right of that, and for the draw to happen, the club path must be more inside to out than where the club face is pointing. And that's the physical way that a draw can happen.
So it's quite interesting you say that, because most people will just assume close the club face and that will give me a draw. But of course that's more likely to give you a hook to the left of the target.
Absolutely, because if that's a starting direction, then the ball's just going to start left, right? Exactly right. Now, there's another thing that I think a lot of people would do is that they would probably, to get their draw, they just point their feet out to the right-hand side. Now, this is one school of thought. If you point your feet out to the right-hand side, essentially you are making your swing path go from inside to out compared to the target. And then you could close your club face simply to that, and then you will hit a draw shot. But for the purpose of this video, let's imagine that we're going to try and create this shot so it's our default shot for our golf game. Now, if we're going to do that, then we actually have to think about setting our feet square to where we want to be, and then from there we have to think about at impact being able to have our club face slightly open to that point and the club path coming more inside to that, so it's relative to our feet.
The net effect is a negative number on the club to face
ratio.
The ratio.
Yeah, that's right. So when that face to path ratio comes in, we would like see it on TrackMan in a negative number. If we do see that in a positive number, we know we've created that face. All right, so I'll talk my way through this the way that I would probably do it. When I set up for a golf shot, I would set myself so that I feel pretty square. Now, I know for myself that I've worked a lot on being able to try and hit a draw, and when I bring that club in, my feeling is that, yes, definitely my club face is open, but when I bring the club face, the club path down, I definitely make sure that I almost, in the beginning, I would exaggerate that feeling of bringing it on the inside just to make sure that I can see that ball draw. Now, if I was able to get that draw a couple of times, then I could change the increments on that, so it was more of a subtle draw that I could control.
Because a lot of amateurs, they'll come over the ball and they'll hit that. You see a lot of slicers these days. So that's quite a fundamental change for them to be able to hit that draw. They've got to change that club path.
Exactly.
And I guess they need to do that first before they're fixing the club face. Because without that inside to out, you just can't get that draw onto the target line.
Right on. You're right.
Okay.
So I would say that when I take that club back, I would even exaggerate a little bit more of a turn with my shoulders to make sure that I get enough depth with my hands to
Yep.
keep them on the inside as they come down.
Okay.
You know, if I don't, you can imagine, if I don't turn my shoulders enough and I just do a very armsy swing, which you see with a lot of amateur golfers, they would take it straight up, they haven't turned their shoulders enough, and essentially when they bring the club down, they just cut straight across the golf ball, and that's definitely not your draw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if you do close your club face.
Even if you do close your club face, you know, that could even create the worst possible scenario.
Yeah.
You cut across it and close your club face.
Big duck hook.
It's a big pull hook thing, yeah.
So, what is your default? Is this your default shot?
This is my default.
Okay, so you when you're playing golf and you're not saying, right, I specifically need to fade this or do that. Your go-to shot is this.
Being
this
able to
small
hit
draw.
it, you know, with a little draw onto the target.
Okay. So if I'm an amateur at home, which I am, obviously, I should focus on maybe trying to get this to become my default shot.
If you're looking to get the best distance out of your irons and the best compression, a draw is very much the shot to go to for that. If you are looking for a little bit more control out of your shot and you're not worried about distance, a fade does help, but I think the draw is the way to go because a lot of people are looking for that extra distance to try and help out their game.
Also, they look cooler with their friends, don't they? With the draw.
That's right. Like I said, I took that club back and I really felt like I got that extra rotation of my body so that I can get my hands deeper in behind me. And then as I come down, I can feel that club coming back this way. Now, there's a couple of other things that might happen technically for you to, you know, make a mistake here. We have to assume that if you're going to do this shot, you're not going to cast those hands. You have to have a good movement with your hands to come down to be able to make sure they come from the inside. You know, so definitely it's going to feel like instead of casting with the hands, you're actually almost letting the hands remain passive and you're turning that body through the impact. Okay, Spencer, so before we get into hitting these shots, let's set up a little bit of a grid to talk about club face, club path.
Okay.
Now, what I want to do is I want to set this one up, and this is going to be a representation of your club face, and I've got that pointing towards the center of that bunker out there, just to the right of the flag stick we're aiming to. Now, this one here is going to be a representation of your club path. Now, that's going to be a little bit more into out than the direction of where that club face is pointing to, and this is going to be towards that tree that's out there on the right-hand side. Now, when you do your golf swing, you have to imagine that on the way down, your club path is going to follow this line, and then your club face is going to hit that line. If we get that, we've got our perfect draw.
Okay.
All right, let's see a couple of shots, man.
Line up. Okay, so interesting. You leave that one behind, so that's
a representation of the club down.
Okay. And the direction is still the same, which is towards that flag. Going up straight. I'm using all the tips you've given me from my other lessons. Let's see what I can do.
Right on, that's a perfect one straight off the bat.
So can I take these out on the golf course next time we play?
Yeah, you can take them out, just that you have to give that stroke back that I'm giving to you every single hole, okay? Oh, nice. Looks like you're dialed in now, Spence.
I'm ready to take it out on the course.
Let's go take this out on the course.
All right, guys, thanks for watching another episode of Skins Golf TV.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave some more comments. We really enjoyed doing this draw shot for one of our viewers. So
he's our number one fan now, I think.
Number one fan. All right.
See you guys next time.
Cheers.
Oh! You kill your back.
It hurts me to watch you doing this.